Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back again. Second video today. Boost! Because I'm YouTube famous now. Available in 2021, the album, Dad. AF. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel that's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes and airplanes. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I know every word to that song. That was one of my favorite songs in high school. It does kind of seem like the end of the world a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, no, not really. But like drama was so dry in January. And then all of a sudden this stuff starts happening. And it's like, this is crazy town. What is going on? Like, friendships that have ended after 12 years, and I'm just completely blown away by this. So today we are going to talk about Trisha Paytas and the Frenemies podcast, and we're also going to talk about, well, I'm going to talk about, and then you guys can have any kind of conversation you want to have in the comment sections below. Like I said in my last video, unlike Rylan Adams, I keep my comment sections open, and I don't delete comments underneath there. So anyway, let's get into this video. My last video was about Rylan's podcast and his addressing the Trisha situation and Trisha coming out on TikTok and what she had to say about it. So please go check out that video. This video, like I said, is going to be more addressing the whole situation with Jeffree Star. You know, first of all, before I get into this, I just want to say, you know, a lot of people are saying, and I totally understand this point of view. I really, really do. In fact, I'm kind of like on the fence, like going back and forth. I don't know how to feel about all this stuff, right? About this specific situation. A lot of people are saying, oh, now that Trisha came out, Oscar's coming out, and all these other people are coming out, and yada, 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 right? You know, I think, and people are saying that, like, you know, they're kind of like riding on the coattails of Trisha being able to, like, now that she came out, like, okay, now it's not as scary. I think for me, the way that I look at that, and maybe I'm completely wrong, okay? Maybe, you know, they're taking advantage of the situation. Who knows? I don't know. I do have some personal feelings about the whole situation with Oscar, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And I don't even know if you guys are like, who is Oscar? What's he talking about? I'll talk about that in just a second. But, you know, for me, I think it is very similar, you know, like, to the high school bully kind of mentality, you know, that like everybody is afraid of this person. You know, it's very much like this. Like, I know we want to make jokes about the Mean Girls and calling them the Mean Girls and relating it to the movie The Mean Girls, right? But like nobody really would come out and talk about Regina George until the end of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think that is true. I think that's, most of these people have like a fear associated with it. You know, Tab David came out a year ago. Nobody wanted to believe him. Nobody wanted to hear anything that he had to say, right? And Tab David came out, and I highly respect that he came out because he felt like it was the right thing to do, you know, at the time, and share his story about his experience with Jeffree Star. You know, there were a lot of things in that now we look back, of who Jeffree Star hired for security. Like, that's not coming up again. I think that's a really valid point that people probably need to take a look at. Because one of the things that is interesting to me, right, is that people that are now coming out and speaking about Jeffree Star, it's like, well, all of this stuff has happened in the past, and that wasn't bad enough to make you think that maybe you should speak out against Jeffree Star about your story or your alleged experiences with him. But now, because Trisha, I think the problem is, though, that Trisha has this huge platform, and since she came out and finally said, here's my truth, and she's getting a lot of support for it, people do feel like it's safer to come out. And I think that's natural in our world today. I don't necessarily think it's always the right thing to do. But I think especially on a huge platform like YouTube, it's hard to come out and know that everybody's going to be against you and post, you know, a video saying what nobody's going to agree with at the time. Well, the tides have changed, and I have a feeling more people are going to come out and talk about their experiences with Jeffree Star. So I don't, how you receive that is up to you, what you do with it. Now, I want to talk about Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde is a musician. He lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I want to talk about this because yesterday, Oscar started tweeting a lot of stuff out. Let me get to my tweets. Hold on a second. He started tweeting a lot of stuff out on the Twitter. I'm like been talking for like an hour straight about all this stuff. He started tweeting stuff out on Twitter, kind of insinuating that he was going to make a video about it, that he was trying really hard to make a video about it, yada, yada, yada. I want to say this because one of the things that he tweets out on here, which was really nice, he said on here, somebody tagged me in this. He said, yeah, I've been too kind and kept my mouth shut for too long. But the only thing I will say publicly right now is that, yes, I physically was asked by Jeffree, at what point do I cut ties with Shane? Like, this is more than 3 strikes. Literally the effing day after Tati filmed her video, okay? And then somebody tagged me in it. So then he goes into this long Twitter thing, but then later he said on here, as I think I've had some DMs, people are asking me why I'm like involved in this. Oscar later, about 6 tweets later, said, you also want real facts. Peter Monn has known about this. He has done nothing but be respectful of my wish to stay completely out of this and has done nothing but support my sobriety and be there when I'm low. Very, very stand-up, kind human being. Okay, I'm just done with the BS. Well, thank you, Oscar. I really, really appreciate that. I want to say this to kind of explain this part of it because this is my only part of it, which is not much, right? But because I think people will be like, oh, you're biased or whatever, I want to explain this part. So I made a video, I don't know how long ago, I went in there and I looked to see how long we were talking, have been talking, but I had made a video about Oscar interacting with Jeffree, and I mentioned something about it in the video. And a lot of people in the comment sections of my video said something about Oscar's sobriety. And so I can even go in and I can read the exact message that we had back and forth with each other because I looked it up earlier today. Hold on a second. What? Now my Twitter is frozen. Can you even imagine a worse hell than that? Okay, so I went back and I looked because Oscar followed me after I posted the video, and then I reached out to him and I said something to the effect of, here, let me pull it up. I said something to the effect of, if you want me to like pull down the video, I will, or I think I said if you want me to rectify it. I reached out to him and I said, we may see things differently about what's going on, but as a person who has been sober for 25 plus years, I never condone someone coming for somebody's sobriety. If you feel my video did that, trust me, I will rectify it in my next video. And he was very nice about the whole thing. Let me tell you when that was. That was July 4th. He was very nice about the whole thing and said, no, you don't need to do that, blah, blah, blah. Now, he has told me time and time again, he will message me and say, what you said about Jeffree in the video was 100%. You were right on. He has also asked me to he wanted to stay out of the drama. And in all honesty, 90% of my communication with Oscar Wilde has been specifically about his sobriety. And I think that he would attest to that as well. Every time that he tweets out a sobriety birthday, of which he just celebrated 41 months, congratulations. I message him and I'm like, congratulations. If he talks about going through something on the internet, I reach out to him as a person in sobriety and I say, hey, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you, yada, yada, yada. He has really, really struggled, I would say, since I started talking to him, and that's all I can talk about. He has really struggled going back and forth with this whole Jeffree Star thing. And I know that this is going to be a surprise to people out there, okay, that think that I have the hugest vendetta in the world against this man. But at times, because I reread our messages back and forth, when he was talking about how he felt like Jeffree really let him down, that at the lowest point of his life, Jeffree wouldn't even respond to his messages or his phone calls and wasn't there for him, even though he had been there for Jeffree at his lowest time. I said to him, even in that message of everything he was going through, I said, do not forget the good times and the good things, because there had been moments that he told me that Jeffree had really been there for him in the past, but that had changed. So he was really questioning the authenticity of that friendship, okay? And I even in those moments said to him, like, it wasn't fake, like Jeffree really probably did care about you at that time, focus on those times, yada, 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 trying to be yet again a person, a friend in sobriety. I think, what I am seeing from Oscar right now is the truth. I think he finally was like, this can't continue to go on, yada, 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 and he finally felt like he needed to come out and speak. Do I think that he felt like maybe it was safer because Trisha came out and spoke? Yeah, I do. I think that, but I also think Oscar doesn't seem to me as somebody that's scared of others. I think that he was really, in the last couple months, hoping that Jeffree would do the right thing. I think he really believed that full-heartedly in Jeffree. And maybe I'm wrong, but I really do believe that Oscar really believed in the best in Jeffree Star. And then this was kind of like, it's not there and it's not going to be there. And so he finally felt like he needed to come out and say something, of which he did last night. He posted a 6-minute and 37-second video or something. It was an audio video. everybody's talking about like how his voice is such ASMR. Doesn't he have the most fantastic voice in the world? I know. But, you know, I just wanted to clear that up and say that. And I did reach out to him, and he said, you know, I told him, I said, I am going to mention this in a video. Are you okay with that? And he said, yeah, talk about it. I'm fine with that. And he actually even said, like, you know, gave me his number and was like, if you want to reach out and ask me more about it, I'm more than willing to talk to you about it. So it just is really sad to me. Yet another friendship. Like, we're not talking at this point about just like internet drama. We're talking about friendships that are being ruined left and right by all of this. So I wanted to go in here and I wanted to read some of the messages or some of the tweets that he put out last night so you can get a better idea of what he was talking about. He said, yeah, I've been too kind and kept my mouth shut for too long, but the only thing I will say publicly right now is that, yes, I was physically asked by Jeffree, at what point do I cut ties with Shane? Like, this is more than 3 strikes. Literally the effing day after Tati filmed her video. He also addresses this in his video that he put up last night. And he said that he definitely specifically remembers the 3 strikes thing. And they were playing pinball. And, or maybe Trisha said that. Oh, no. Oh, no, this was the thing I wanted to say. I think that Trisha, in her TikTok that she put up, she put this TikTok up, and then it was like a message back and forth with somebody. And it said, in here, I forgot to mention something that would have truly made Shane listen, because it's, again, something only I would know. But the day all the Tati drama came down, Shane was very upset. And then a music artist, okay, it goes on and on and on. Shane was absolutely manic, and Jeffree was playing pinball with me, and every time Shane would message him, he would roll his eyes and look at me saying, who's calling again, and he'd just be like, it's Shane again. So that obviously shows you how much Jeffree Star really cares about the misery that Shane Dawson has gone through, even though Shane Dawson is willing to throw a 12-year friendship away and everything else over his alleged friendship with Jeffree Star. It's going to be so interesting to see who jumps ship first, you know? It's totally going to be Jeffree Star, and Shane Dawson is going to sit out there, and he is just going to look like a fool, isn't he? After holding, you know, on so tightly. Oh, it's my husband calling. My husband! Anyway, after holding on so tightly to this friendship, for what? For money? For money? For views? Sad, isn't it? So sad. So anyway, Oscar then goes in and he says, I'm not trying to bring people into this, but I truly feel my kindness or empathy was taken advantage of, and I just feel bad for the fact that Trisha lost a friend for siding with someone I physically watched say what they said. Simple as that. He said, I love seeing Trisha evolving into such a self-aware, kind, just all-around better person. I try and see the best in just about everyone, and she's making it easy to see. She's educating herself and attempting to better herself all around. Proud of you, friend. And then she said, thank you for this. I hate that we had issues that would never have existed if it wasn't for people in the middle making up lies. It hurts so much. I'm so sorry. I know we are cool now, but sometimes I still feel hurt and guilt about words that were said. Thank you for saying the truth. It's interesting because the next person responds and says, what you went through was so horrible, and I'm so sorry, but this is yours, Jeffree, and Jay's drama, and Shane's stuck in the middle of it for no reason. I get it. He sticks up for Jeffree. I get it. He didn't publicly stand up for you, but because it's Shane's people put the most hate on him, and their profile picture is Shane Dawson. Interesting that you would have that point of view. Somebody said Oscar said, I could easily go the F off on awful things that have been said in my time with people I've never signed an NDA. I just want, that's interesting right there to me. I just want nothing to do with people that have proven to me that they are simply awful. I gave Jeffree tons of chances. If Shane wants to believe him, that's his choice. And that's where I feel like for the last months, you know, and this is, other than what I said in the DM, I'm not going to get in and read DMs. I don't love that unless I absolutely have to. But if you read them, you would see that Oscar has really struggled with this in the last 8 months, 9 months. He's really wanted to believe that, or 6 months, that Jeffree is this friend that he thought he was, you know? And I think for any of us out there that have had like close friends like that, especially people that have really been there for us at a certain point, it's really hard. You know, you really want to believe that that person is who you see they are. I mean, I think sometimes we put our friendships on pedestals, you know, we believe that they're more of a deal than they are, you know, and the thing is, I have learned in life is that I have really high expectations for people, and for me, from a recovery 12-step point of view, a resentment is an unfulfilled expectation. It is when I feel that a certain person, place, or thing should have happened a way and it didn't turn out that way. But I don't have the luxury in my life as a person in recovery today to really have a lot of resentments. Resentments to me are going to lead me back to using, right? So that means that I have to lower my expectations with people. But how far do we have to lower our expectations with our closest friends to just expect that they'll be good human beings, you know? To expect that not on a public video, on a phone call that you're having with them, that when you tell them how hurt you are, not the first time, not the second time, not the fifth time, not the 10th time, but you've sat on a couch with them, with your sister present, like Trisha, you've said to them time and time again, you've shown them text messages of how hurt you are, and yet your friends still can't stand by you, okay? I feel like we're allowed to have expectations in life. Now, I think we'll be let down many times, but personally, I feel like we should be able to have expectations of our friends, you know? On Oscar's end, is it a lot to ask that when you're hitting the lowest point of your life, which he says in the video that he put out, to have a friend just call you back or just check in and say, hey, are you doing okay? To make sure that you're, you know, like, I mean, he goes in there and talks about how his family just completely just was done, right? And Jeffree couldn't even reach out to him after the point when Jeffree was at his lowest point. And I don't think we do things in friendships for tit for tat, but that's very telling, isn't it? Of people that are takers and people that are givers in life, you know? And it's very, very sad, you know? Trisha said in her TikTok that I posted in my last video that Shane's never, like, said a bunch about her music videos. She's shown other people's. I'm very proud of this palette that Jeffree Star put out. I'm very proud of my friend for being in this movie. I'm very proud of this. But he's really never said anything for Trisha. It makes you wonder if for a long time now, Shane has felt this way about Trisha and has kind of just wanted to exit the friendship, and now he has an excuse for that. That almost kind of seems like the only thing, right? Because he and Rylan both are like, I mean, Rylan in the podcast talking out of one side of his mouth and acting a completely different way. It's like, if you felt so firmly the way that you do about what you said in your podcast, why are you disabling comments, okay? Why are you making it so that people can't speak to what you feel like? It's like they just want to live in this, like, dome of, like, their own truth, and nobody else can speak to them about what's really, really going on. So then he goes on to say, hold on a second. Okay. I've attempted to make a video like 10 times. For whatever reason, I keep crying. I never lower my guard like this, but I'm not going to sit and let people's friendship over 10 plus years go to crap, S-H-I-T, because of lies. If that is the case, I'm more mad at myself for ever supporting them. So basically what he's saying at this point is, I'm making this video really to save the friendship between Trisha and Shane, okay? And, you know, I said in my last video, like, to think about all of this stuff that has happened with Shane in the last year, that the thing that's going to bring him down is his lack of loyalty to the person. I'm not saying that Trisha Paytas is the greatest person on the internet, okay? You know, and she even takes a lot of responsibility in her TikToks and says, you know, I've been a horrible person on the internet. I know people don't like me at times, like this and that, whatever. I mean, she took a lot of accountability for that, I personally thought. A lot more than I've seen, okay, in the past. But to think that Shane Dawson's friendship with Trisha Paytas was going to be the thing that brought him down because he couldn't just stand up and do the right thing for 2 seconds, not even on film. Now it's like I said on Instagram or whatever, he didn't even need to come out publicly and say anything. He could have just said it to Trisha on the phone. That's going to be the thing. That's going to be the thing. That it's going to ruin Shane for good. Who saw that coming? Not me. I didn't. Teaches you the importance of loyalty to your friends, right? So then, hold on a second. Let me, he goes on and says a bunch of stuff about, he goes on and talks about all this, and all these people are saying stuff. Okay. But anyway, the whole thing kind of makes me sad. It also makes me wonder who else is going to come out. You know, who's going to be the next person that's going to come out and say stuff, about Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. I said in my last video, it'll be interesting to see if Gabby Hanna comes out. Her name is being thrown out in this, but there's other people as well. Trisha did post in her TikTok, and I actually did not include this in my last video, so I'm going to put this in here because I just took a picture of it. I didn't upload the video. But she says at the very end, somebody asks her a question. Hold on, where is it? Somebody asked her this question. When everyone, Andrew and Garrett, has a problem with Shane and Rylan, I think it's time for them to realize it's not everyone else's fault but their faults. And she kind of addresses this in there. She doesn't say that she doesn't say that Rylan, this is so bright, this ring light. What is going on? She doesn't say that Rylan and Garrett are not Shane and she doesn't say that Andrew and Garrett are not Shane and Rylan's friends anymore. But the fact that she even addresses that in the video and kind of just like kind of glazes over it, makes me wonder, because Trisha's smart, she knows what she's doing. It kind of makes me wonder, since she's getting tons of questions, right? On TikTok, that's the question she addressed. It kind of makes me wonder if she's like wanting to put out there, they're not friends anymore. Like, and you spotted this and everybody has been wondering about that, right? Do I think that Andrew and Garrett will come out in the podcast and address this? No, I do not think that they will. I think that Andrew and Garrett have their crap together a little bit more than all of this, right? But it will be interesting because people, I think like Garrett is kind of removed from it all, but it will be interesting because people will say, well, Andrew was part of this. He was right there as the film, he was filming all of this. He was behind all of this going on, you know? So, you know, at what point is Andrew like a part of this all as well? Although I think he's been enough removed from this at this point, I personally do not really believe that Andrew and Garrett are interacting with Shane. I think this was kind of their exit at this point too. I don't think they'll come out and publicly say anything. Do I think other people might? Yeah, I do. I think Morgan in a vlog will address this indirectly. And I think it won't be a smart choice. But I think that Shane and Ryland know how much people love Morgan and how accepted she is. And I think, like, the time that she came out and dressed Shane and how she knows Shane and this is different than the Shane that she knows and all this kind of stuff, that was well accepted. I mean, people, they listened to what Morgan had to say. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't come out in one of her vlogs and kind of address this whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I think it'll be very real and genuine when she comes out and does it. But anyway, you know, it's interesting to see all of this happen, you know, especially just on the heels of me doing this video 2 days ago, talking about what I think that Shane Dawson's next project is going to be, which I do think that that's what it's going to be. And I think that Trisha really, you know, threw a wrench into his project, because now if Shane's going to come back and try to show what a real person he is and how he's found himself all over again through all of this crap that he's gone through, and I mean, she keeps on mentioning him talking about being in therapy, so that's obviously going to be part of this project. Like I said, Trisha's not stupid. If he comes back and he's like, you know, like, here's who I am today, with all this Trisha stuff sitting over here that he hasn't dealt with and they haven't made up, and how is he supposed to come back on the heels of that? People are going to be like, no, this is manipulative again. This is you manipulating the situation all over again because Trisha already called you out, you know? Maybe Trisha waited. Maybe Trisha waited because she wanted to really, just like Oscar was waiting for Jeffree, maybe Trisha was waiting to see if Shane would really do the right thing. Maybe she waited till the last minute before he was going to throw this project out. Maybe that's what this was, with Trisha saying, I'm done. Like, you know what? Throw your project out now. Let's see what people accept. Let's see if people accept it, you know? And the thing that was interesting watching her TikTok coming out today was, she seemed genuinely surprised by Ryland's response in the podcast. Like, really kind of like, I cannot believe this is continuing to go on. Like, I cannot believe that you guys, she has them blocked on phone calls and stuff, she said at this point, but like, she cannot believe that they're just not like reaching out and being, I mean, there's got to be some way to get a hold of Trisha Paytas, okay? Through Moses or Ethan Klein or whoever, sister or whatever, that they could, you know, text or call if they really wanted to talk to her. And it's like, she seemed genuinely like, I literally cannot believe this is continuing to go on. And, you know, in all honesty, I don't think anybody looking at the last 6 months would have ever guessed that the biggest thing that would happen to the YouTube community in 2021 so far, I mean, questionably, maybe, but like with all of the people that cover all this kind of stuff, is the end of the friendship of Trisha Paytas and Shane Dawson. I honestly did not see that coming, ever, you know? So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.